It's about 1862 in Victorian era Paris, and your name is Claude Monet. You and 4 of your friends are pissed. You've just had your latest paintings rejected from the popular art salon in the city, Salon de Paris. But your paintings were rejected because they don't fit these Victorian ideals that you and your cohort are tired of. Polite society only ever wants appropriate cultural scenes, meaning if it's in art, it has to be mythology, religious scenes, really stuffy portraits, or still lifes that couldn't offend anyone. In this Victorian period, no one talks about regular life. So that's why the 4 of your friends and you are so upset. You feel that it's time to include regular life in art, and you want to explore the way that light plays on regular objects, buildings, scenes, and bring out the bright color, show the brushstrokes so that there's energy and movement and life in the paintings, and basically legitimize the current human experience as worthy of depicting in art. So in a defiant move with your group of painting friends, you make a salon of your own. In a world where your art isn't good enough to get into the regular social stream, you decide to make your own art world. The result is that more people end up coming to see your paintings than go to the regular Salon de Paris. And so I wanted to share and talk about what does it mean to live vividly, starting with this incredible illustration of how the Impressionists changed the course of history with their bold refusal to accept the constraints of the culture at the time. The first way is to share how you see the world. The Impressionists used light to show these scenes that should have been mundane parts of life, a building, a party, a patio, things that you could pass on the street and totally ignore. But the way the Impressionists painted them was with changing color, all of this energy, making the moment worth paying attention to. Painting these perspectives opened a whole new reality for the viewers and the culture at the time to start seeing themselves as worthy of being in art. In my art and the way I see the world and the clothes that I choose, the way that I decorate my place, the way I communicate, I want to show my worldview, which is pretty optimistic. It's that life is an epic story, that there's a purpose and that we have a choice in how the plot develops. And the more that we boldly express, the more life can become magical. The second way to live vividly is to set up your life to reflect who you are. And I love this example in the 1860s to 70s, the way the Impressionists made their own community, this supportive little mastermind of painters, and they were bold enough as a group to make their own salon, basically their own gallery. For me, setting up my life to reflect who I am started with my values. I value freedom, connected relationships. I really value beauty, and I value my health. And so the foundations of that was having a freelance marketing business that gives me a lot of freedom to design my time and lets me travel and have the novelty that brings me so much joy and the inspiration that feeds into my art. It's also meant putting things in my life that bring me joy, between regulating my habits so they make my body feel really good, recognizing where my energy is and making sure that I program into my life the socializing that I love and the hosting that I love, putting in the opportunities just to get dressed up and go out somewhere because it makes me so happy. The third way to live vividly is feeling deeply seen and understood by the people in your life. For the Impressionists, it wasn't just Claude Monet. There were 4 other friends of his, and because they had each other, they were able to keep making art until people understood what they were up to. For me, feeling seen and understood has really meant focusing on communication and relationships in the sense of letting go of perfectionism, which took me a while. I used to really not want people to see me being a mess or having a breakdown because I would think I'm too much of a burden. And what I discovered, of course, is that sharing my struggles invited vulnerability and intimacy, and letting down my Miss Perfect mask was the way that I brought people close and ended up feeling very seen. And also encouraging other people, giving them my full attention when I'm with them. It's very reciprocal, and it's a fertile ground to start sharing my art and what I'm up to, because people want to listen after I've deeply listened to them. Living vividly doesn't mean you have to be a super extrovert or wildly outgoing. It can be for someone who's quiet. Instead of living with embarrassment or shame or being afraid to take up space, you more and more boldly share who you are. So that's what it means to live vividly. It's sharing who you are, setting up your life to represent how you see the world, and bringing other people into your experience so that you feel seen. Stay tuned and subscribe for more stories about living vividly and how to do it, what it looks like. Test it out yourself in the meantime, and I'll see you in the next one.